Yay. Okay.
Adam.
Hello, guys. Welcome. Okay, so we are doing our live 2 days early this week just because I'll be going on Dr. Wiedemann's Carb Sober Cruise on Friday. Very excited about that. So, as always, first off, I'd love to know where you all are connecting from. Where are you all located? Put it in the live chat, put it down below in the comments. We would love to know. One special announcement before we jump right into the questions is that Limitless Lindy is going to have her skin removal surgery in just a few days now. And this is our last chance as a community to get together and support her GoFundMe. She is literally so close to her goal to make this happen. And Todd, do you want to take over with more details about it?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
So put it in there, but Lindy's 6 days away from her surgery. It's pretty amazing. She's man, this is going to be fun to see what this is like, but we are 83% of the way to our goal. So we're on the home stretch. You guys have been awesome. The GoFundMe link is in the description. And again, we appreciate so much everybody that's donated, and to anybody that can't, we totally understand. We just ask anybody that has any chance to share it on social media or put the word out there for us or prayers. We appreciate it all. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. She's six days away from the big surgery. It's so cool.
The big transformation. Yeah.
Amazing. Wow. So exciting. Lindy, how are you feeling? Are you nervous about it?
I am. I just spoke to the surgeon this morning, so I'm a little bit nervous now.
Oh.
Yeah, until then I was sort of like, is this going to happen? But now it's definitely all confirmed, and yeah, it's starting to believe.
Amazing.
They don't do surgery over Zoom now, do they?
Not yet. They might.
Yeah. All right. Let me drop the GoFundMe in the live chat as well so that we can make.
Yeah, I put it in there.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, it's right there. Thank you, everyone, for the help. And this community rocks. Let's make this happen for Lindy. All right, so let's go into how we will take questions in these live streams for anyone who is new. Todd, do you want to debrief?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So we're going to take questions in order, except for super chats do take precedent. And so for the non-super chats, we're going to do a little bit of a quick fire round. And if you could put 3 capital Qs and the name of the person the question is for on the panel in front of it, then we will, that way we can get through as many questions, because there's generally 50 to 100 questions that we don't get to every night. We're trying to get through as many as we can because we get hundreds. If we could get you to put the name of the person that you want to answer it or that the question is for, we will do rapid fire on all the non-super chats, and then the super chats do take precedent, and we the whole panel usually, or the best people on the panel that have the most information on that question, that super chat will answer. So appreciate it so much.
Fantastic. Now, to warm everyone up, Alyssa is new here, and this is her very first live stream that she's joining. So let's all welcome Alyssa firstly. And one thing, Alyssa, I'd love for you to share. Introduce yourself, obviously. How long have you been carnivore, and what are the most major benefits you've experienced?
So I've been carnivore for about 1.5 years almost, and a Lion diet for the last year. And I'm no longer type 2 diabetic, and I'm no longer suffering from chronic pain from degenerative disc disease. And I've cut my migraines down from being 16 or more migraine days per month now to just 1 or 2 per month. And I'm surviving lupus, working on putting it in remission without any medication. So
wow. Bravo. So happy you're here, Alyssa. Let's get started with the questions.
All right, here we go.
Hi, Target Prime Rib. You are always here, and we're happy to see you. Thank you. Don't worry, I will not do any super chats tonight. I will just bombard everyone with my uncle jokes. We love it. Go ahead.
Bring it.
Welcome. All right. So Go to the Rock says, I'm experiencing keto rash, primarily eating meat, eggs, fish, butter, maybe a little veg or fruit. Oh, and cream in my coffee and milk. Recommendations I'm finding online are increase carbs. Okay. And, are they, okay. So this person is saying increase carbs to help with the keto rush. Do we recommend that? Raymond?
I don't not for the keto rash. Keto rash is kind of like an oxalate dumping in the keto days. That's what they called it.
Yeah.
But it is pretty much oxalate dumping, and using a little bit of lemon or black tea, or take a look at Sally K. Norton. Bella has her on the channel. She talks a lot about that. It'll give you a lot of insight of what you might need.
Awesome. Okay, let's keep going.
All right.
Hi, Caleb. So good to see you here. This is for you, Raymond, and thank you for the super chat. Raymond, how do you weight train on Carnivore?
Oh, goodness. I wish I could tell you I actually weight train, but I don't. So
Wait a minute. Those ribeyes are heavy.
that's it. I do calisthenics. I do karate. I do rock climbing. I do. I used to do Orange Theory, and but it was very little weight train per se. So most of it just kind of body weight movement, and that's really gotten me, the most shred that I can get, and the fasting. So really, my muscles preserved very well, and it looks great. So, but unfortunately, if I had to do, I benched the other day 225, so I still can obviously do that. So for some reason with Carnivore, it just maintains the ability to be able to keep strength. I just can't. I don't understand it.
I mean, we've seen that a lot, not just with men, but also women. Just by eating more meat and going carnivore, you feel stronger. You even look stronger without the added extra weight training, gym workouts. I certainly felt so much stronger just going from vegan to carnivore. It was incredible. All I did was change my diet. So that's definitely a real thing happening to a lot of people. And I wanted to shout out Caleb. He is going to have his first interview happening this Friday. Okay.
Awesome.
We should all get together as a community and support him. It's actually on a channel live stream. It's a live stream. So we can go join, watch, be in the chat, hype him up. If you can share the details, whose channel, please, and what time, what day, Caleb, put that in the chat and we can all take note. Thank you.
Caleb's that young carnivore, right?
He's 16.
16. Yeah. Caleb. Kill it.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Hey, Michael, thank you so much. So I joined a gym a couple months ago, which helped my weight stall, but put my insomnia into overdrive to the point that I missed work on a regular basis.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. So any tips to troubleshoot? Let's start with Phil. Do you want to start?
Yeah, I think Raymond might be better because I'd like him to talk a little bit about grounding, and then I'll talk about some other things.
Sure.
Yeah, I like where you're going at with Doc, because grounding does help a lot with insomnia. So grounding is just the basis of literally like putting your feet on the ground, and there's electrons that come on there. So you could do that for free, going outside barefoot, doing it that way. But I like these grounding mats. I'm actually sitting on one right now because and you plug it up to the grounding outlet. There's a lot of videos about that. It's not dangerous. It's usually down to the ground. There is issues with pre-1970s homes, but anything past that, you're good. What I also can say, you joined the gym a couple of days ago, and it helped your weight stall, but your insomnia went into overdrive. So I do want to talk a little bit about pushing ourselves and getting below a certain weight. And I know when I do that with fasting, I will get insomnia also if I do it too much. In other words, there is a portion that your body is comfortable with. So my suggestion is you may need to prime a little bit or feast a little bit, eating a little bit more meat, especially that the gym kind of caused it. So you're probably not eating enough is my suggestion. But Phil?
Yeah, I suspect it probably is a change in the activity level and under eating. And so there's several things you might want to try. Obviously, don't be on live streams this time of night unless you have your blue blockers on. We want to try to avoid the blue light as much as we can right before we go to bed. Some people find just dissolving a pat of butter on their tongue when they go to bed
Yes.
will help them to relax. And the fat is very soothing, kind of helps drive you into some sleep. And some people take supplements like magnesium glycerate, but I like the butter trick. I think it's a good way to go. I think grounding is a great way to go too. And try to set a time to get up in the morning, because a lot of people have irregular times that they're getting up. And so because they're getting up at an abnormal time or a different time every day, they're not getting to sleep at the same time. And when you start regimenting yourself, it seems counterintuitive, but I find a lot of insomniacs that they start getting up at a set time every morning, eventually their bodies will re-regulate and they'll want to go to bed earlier and fall to sleep better. So also drinking some warm water at nighttime with that butter will help. So try those if they help.
Great tips. Thanks both.
All right.
Hello. Thank you so much. Does carnivore increase muscle mass even if you do not work out? Okay, I guess let's go back to this topic specifically. Todd, do you want to open?
Oh, yeah, absolutely it does.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, I had so much atrophy too when I was coming into this, and the whole reason that I can work out now is because the muscle came back just from eating meat. I mean, and not just a little bit, but probably over 40 or 50 pounds of muscle I watched come back over about a 15-month period. And that's literally why I have the strength to work out now. It's because I came back for sure.
Yeah, and I think you see that through body composition. I think the one thing that we all experience as carnivores over time is an improvement in body composition, which means your body will get leaner because you're having less adipose, which is bulky, and you're developing muscle and bone strength. Your bones actually get denser. We see so many people in Steak and Butter Gang who report their DEXA scans for their bones go from osteopenia to normal because your bone density increases because of all the extra protein being able to suck in the calcium that you're getting through your meat. So you get bone density improvements, you get muscle density improvement, and you lose the fat in your muscles, which are actually counterproductive. So the muscles get leaner. So there's so many good health things that happen to your body, but that's why we say, pay less attention to your clothes, to your scale, and pay more attention to how your clothes fit.
Right.
Because that's a better indicator of what's happening to your body.
That's right. And I'd love to add, I recently started weight training myself. And
cool.
yeah. This evening, we actually had Dr. Baker visit SBG and answer questions for the members. And he really stressed in that call just how important it is to do some type of resistance training. No, you don't have to be a power lifter like him. You can just do light, enjoyable, doable resistance training. It really does make a difference as you age, specifically as you age. So set yourself up for success by starting now if you're younger, and start incorporating it now if you are older, in a way that is doable for you, obviously. And so what I wanted to share was, after working out for the first time in 4 years, I noticed that I build muscle mass very quickly.
Yes.
Versus when I was trying to build muscle mass or trying to lose fat, it was so much more difficult. So don't forget about that, Patriarch. You could actually build muscle so much easier after going carnivore. Okay. Even if you do work out lightly. Thank you so much.
And faster recovery times when you do work out.
Absolutely. I experienced that as well. Yep.
Yeah.
Good point.
But take Survivor off your. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, Todd.
No, I was just gonna say, take Survivor off your Spotify playlist when you're listening or lifting, because it pumps you up, and then you lift too much and hurt things.
Yeah, don't do that.
Well, I experienced muscle growth without being able to work out. When I went carnivore, I was Actually, I had been so sick and bedridden for months, and I was just literally skin and bones. I started eating carnivore, and out of nowhere, it was like my biceps just inflated, and like all my muscles were just coming out of nowhere. And I'm like, I'm literally on my like deathbed, like couldn't even lift anything heavy, and I was growing muscle. So it is possible.
Well, tell them
Absolutely.
about your diastasis recti too, that result.
Oh, yeah. So a lot of people may recognize that, like if you try to sit up, your stomach kind of goes into like a point. And it is very common with women who, when you get pregnant, and once you're about 8 or 9 months, all your muscles start to separate. And for some people, they don't grow back together, and so you have this diastasis. Say it again, Phil. Diastasis recti.
Wow.
Yeah, and my youngest child is 13 years old, and all this time, my muscles never grew back together. I've had 3 children, and also after going carnivore, I realized it's not there anymore. My muscles finally grew back together. I think I finally just got all the protein I needed, so
Yes,
it's possible.
it's amazing.
That's awesome. Thank you, Alyssa. One Electric. Thank you so much. I've been doing carnivore for about 8 months now, and the past 2 weeks, I only eat once a day, either 4 eggs a day or 6. Will this hurt me because I'm not taking in enough calories? It'll definitely hurt you if you're under eating, and that to me is like tiny portions. Like this is you're speaking to a table of people who eat like 48 eggs a day. Okay, Todd eats so many eggs. I eat close to that. I cannot beat Todd on that one, but I would eat anywhere from 12 to 24. And 4 to 6 eggs is very tiny portions, in my opinion. Raymond, what do you think?
Yeah, that's so little. I mean, it depends. I mean, gosh, even if you are 5 feet tall, I don't know. That's little. Okay, so hopefully you're eating something else like bacon and all that kind of stuff for one meal. Here's the problem with 1 meal a days. 1 meal a days are just that perfect limbo. You're eating too much and you're eating too little at the same time. Now, in your case, you're probably just eating straight out too little. But what I mean by that is that we get to this point where we're eating that one day and we're eating way too much for our bodies to actually handle and process at one sitting. So that does become problematic, but it's okay to do it for a short stint of time. What I like to do is I like to make sure that you take a break from the 1 meal a day, like 3 days or so, recharge and go back to that. And not only that, it's really good to have a kind of erratic pattern for your body. That does help with getting your composition in and also making you more sensitive in a way where your body will be like, oh, he's giving me way more. You're just more sensitive and able to use it better.
Todd, did you want to chime in?
Well, yeah, that's way too little. I mean, those are rookie numbers. For sure.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. And it's so easy to undereat, especially, everybody's a little bit different. But when I started doing carnivore, I had leptin sensitivity for the first time. And when you're used to restricting yourself and then you get leptin sensitivity and you start eating satiating food, it's like really easy to restrict. But our brain's still in that wheelhouse that we need to calorie restrict. So we're like, oh, this is great because I can go long periods of time and hardly eat anything, and this is awesome. But that goes away and starts being you can keep it up for a long time, but it starts being really harmful. For me, at the 7-month mark, it got really harmful, and I was losing everything that I had gained in that first 7 months. I was getting brain fog again. I was having depression again. Anxiety was coming back. I wasn't sleeping. I didn't have energy. I was getting moody. And it was all because my metabolism tanked. But luckily I found these guys and they showed me priming and that fixed my metabolism. But I was right there with you for the first 7 months. Well, actually 7 months is when it started going downhill and I white knuckled it for another 2 for good measure. But yeah, after 9 months. So yeah, definitely got to eat more, in my opinion, for sure.
Yeah. One Electric, if you could just share some more details. Do you mean 4 to 6 eggs a day and that's it? That's all you're eating that whole day? Every day? Let us know.
Yeah, for the record, I for a long time there, like 6 months, I ate 54 egg yolks a day on top of a couple pounds of meat.
Yeah.
So that was for hormones.
Awesome. All right, Ed, thank you so much. This is for you, Raymond. I stalled after 2 weeks after starting carnivore. I gained back 4 pounds the next 2 weeks. Been on 48-hour fast, ending in 2 hours. Losing weight again. Not hungry at all. So should I end the fast and eat or go for 72 hours?
Okay, so this is great. The 48s are nice. I actually like a 41-hour period myself. That's what I've been doing since the beginning of the year. But and that's what I do every year. But anyways, just to get an idea, if you want, and the 48s are going great with a 2-hour eating window, which is smart. That way you're capable of eating enough. Don't just go for the 72. Here's the thing. I did that. I went for the 72. Then I was like, oh, maybe I could roll 72. And I just burned out very quickly and crashed very quickly. Now, saying that, the 72 is a great seasonal reset. So do a 72, maybe 3 months later, do a 72, but don't start stacking your 72s even weekly. It's just too much. Remember, the biggest results you're going to get is a consistency. How long can you consistently keep those 48 going? That's where your win is. You could even have a short break of 3 days of like a refeed or a little micro prime, which is 3 meals a day, and then go back on the 48. But the idea is just keep going on those kind of fast, alternate day or 48.
Love it. And then Raymond, if you can speak on this question for myself, how important is it to keep your body guessing, to keep the patterns different week to week, month to month?
Actually, it's wonderful to do that. Again, the body responds to make it more efficient. So it's all about efficiency. When it doesn't know when it's going to get its next meal, it just gets so much more efficient. Efficiency translates into a great body composition. Imagine a car that's trying to be more efficient because it wants to go a little bit faster. What does it do? It starts making itself more visibly looking a certain way so that it can actually go against the wind and everything else. Our bodies are very much like that. How do I know that? Marathon runners have proven that versus, say, sprinters. Their body composition are totally different body compositions. Why? Because of how they train. And if you're training in a fasting, it is the same thing. You're training your body. Let's train it to be as efficient as possible so that way it can actually look its best, so that it can actually give you that longer range if you need it.
Excellent. Ed says thank you, by the way.
One Electric followed up with us here.
Oh, okay. Only 4 eggs or 6 at one sitting once a day. Way too little.
Wow. I don't know how.
That is like 300, 400 calories. We're not
280,
you.
280 to 420. So that's really low.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's starvation.
Hmm.
Sorry, I shouldn't say that.
No.
Yeah.
That's way too low. I get more calories than that stuck in my teeth every day after eating meat, for sure.
Yeah.
Why aren't you eating any meat? One Electric. I wish you could get in some red meat. That would benefit you a lot. Even if you have to take tiny little bites, in the beginning of my carnivore journey, I could only eat about 2 ounces at a time. And for some people, that's just one big bite of food. So even if you just have to make yourself eat a bite of food every hour or two, that's better than what you're doing currently.
Exactly. Let's have the community watching this live stream chime in here. Let's help One Electric out. Maybe One Electric is just not used to eating more ever. So share what you guys think. Do you guys think this is eating way too little? Do you have any suggestions for One Electric? We can all help. Okay.
Bella, I like how you
Yeah.
said that actually. So here's the question,
Yeah.
One Electric, that I have to ask. Do you know how much you can eat? Have you ever tried, having a portion of time where you freely ate carnivore foods and
Mhm.
seeing how much you can actually put away? Not just in one sitting, in several sittings throughout the day.
Sure.
And then that can give you a guess of, what you're doing. And we're talking about not restricting to that OMAD either.
That's right. Well, you see, don't forget that there's a lot of people on this planet still that are afraid to eat.
Right. That's
Like,
true. Right.
So afraid to eat,
You're right.
And sometimes even somebody like a coach telling them, "Hey, it's okay to eat more," is not enough. The fear is just that intense. So I wonder if this is the case for One Electric, but hey, keep us posted. And lots of members are chiming in the live chat. Okay.
For sure.
Nav. Oh, good to see you. Friday did come early this week. Just this week, we have it on a Wednesday. So his question is, how long can oxalate dumping go on for? I can answer this because I had it intensely. Firstly, you need to consider how long were you eating oxalate-rich foods? Were you vegan ever, Nav? Were you vegetarian? Were you eating sweet potatoes ever? Kale, spinach? Even black pepper has oxalates, black tea. So if you're eating oxalate-rich foods and for a very long time, the more intense your oxalate dumping will be. My oxalate dumping, I want to say, happened for 6 months total. The first few months were very intense. My skin issues, psoriasis, eczema got worse before it got better. Was it oxalate dumping or a mix of other things plus adaptation? Could have been all of it, like all of the above, all combined. I asked this to Dr. Baker for the course as well, and he said a lot of people will have the tendency to blame everything on oxalate dumping
Sure.
because it's so vague,
Yeah.
Oxalate dumping can be every single symptom across the book. But does it matter? At the end of the day, you will feel amazing on carnivore with enough time. That seems to be the general trend. As difficult as it may be during your adaptation or oxalate dumping, I promise you it gets better. So I wonder if you're asking this because you think you're having oxalate dumping symptoms. It can go on from anywhere from a couple weeks to a couple months. Okay? Hopefully that helps.
All right.
Alrighty. Okay, thank you again. Which grounding mat do you use, Raymond? Yeah, let's take a look. Okay.
It's called Hooga. Sorry, it's upside down.
Hooga. Hooga. Hooga.
That's what I use. I like that quality. It's pretty nice. But I mean, I'm not advertising anything. I'm just that's what I use. So if you're saying
Awesome.
what I use, I like that. I bought a cheaper version, but I really like these ones because of the sturdiness and all that. And that's what I said.
Did
Yeah,
you
I
get
have
on
that
Amazon?
one as well.
Oh, you have Hooga Health? Nice. Yes,
Okay.
that's a good one.
Amazon?
They have an Amazon store. Yeah,
Okay.
but I bought it on Hooga Health directly.
Okay. Hooga Health website, guys. Cool. Wait, do you have it on your feet right now or under your butt?
I'm sitting on it right now, but
Nice.
I have one right here, a spare one on the side.
Now wait a minute.
What?
Are you wearing pants? Because if you're not wearing pants, if you're wearing pants, it doesn't matter. So if you're sitting on it, are you in your tidy whities?
Boxers.
Okay,
Who
I
wears
knew it.
tidy
You know
whities?
Raymond, he's always
Come on now.
exposing him.
You should have definitely said your feet so that nobody would have questioned.
Oh, okay, got it.
Oh my god.
Uh,
All right. Hi, Michael. Thank you. I mentioned my insomnia. Also, I eat a big steak for dinner. An hour later, I'm extremely hungry. Okay. So he eats a big steak for dinner, and then an hour later, he gets extremely hungry. So, should I eat again? Raymond?
Yo, you bet. You bet. Let me tell you. By the way, don't be afraid if your appetite is opening up, because when you went carnivore, for example, and started opening up,
accept it. This is the sign that your body's less hungry, and that means it's capable of digesting. And I want to hear that from Todd, because Todd noticed that too when it opened up. The thing is that when your body's ready to receive, stuff it, give it as much as you can. Well, I shouldn't say stuff it, but anyways, give it as much as you can. Do not go hungry.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, my sleep was, everything balanced out on my sleep once I did a couple of things. Well, did a few things, but after priming too. I used to have weird hunger stuff going on in the night too that would wake me up as well. So I think you just really need to nurse yourself too. If you're waking up and, you know, hungry at night, that's a lot. If you're waking up out of a sleep or not able to sleep at the end of the day because of hunger, your body's prioritizing food over sleep even. Yeah. Like you should be eating. So, and I bought a Faraday backpack, and I've been putting all my Wi-Fi devices in it, and I bought a little Faraday box that I've been putting my Wi-Fi in, and that's actually making my router at night close it up at night, and that actually has been working. It's taken some of the magnetic frequency, you know, out at night, and I've been sleeping.
Sleep better? Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah, that's awesome.
I have a little Faraday.
Good job.
Maybe I should use that. That's not a bad idea.
That's on my list of biohacks to try. I'm not there yet, but yeah, very inspiring.
Well, I was going to do it, but I didn't want to be a tinfoil hat wearing goofball because it said to put all your stuff in the microwave at night. And I was like, I couldn't make myself do it. I just felt like I was joining a cult if I did that. So I got a Faraday backpack. I just didn't want to get made fun of.
And never put the cat in the microwave.
Not more than once. Anyways, you won't get to do it the second time.
Unless you call it Schrodinger. Anyways.
Yeah. All right. Great. Moving on. This is Nav again. What is priming, Raymond?
Priming is eating 3 meals a day until comfortably stuffed. The key word, comfortably and stuffed. And the reason for it is to allow yourself permission to fully eat. The 3 meals a day plus snack for the first week. The second week is 3 meals a day. And then on the third week is when you're testing out that by doing 2 meals. And what it should feel like at any point that you're not able to go on, like, for example, let's say you're at 3 meals and snacks. By the 7th day, you're enjoying it. You keep going. So every step of the way is at the point where you're glad to remove food off your plate. That's when you start knowing that you're primed. We actually tested out with 23-hour water-only fast. But I have a whole calendar, a whole process for that. So if you're interested, please join us.
Where do you teach it?
I teach it in the Steak and Butter Gang. And there it is. Yes.
There it is.
Yeah, and we do it weekly because even though I just kind of dumbed it down right now, there's so many little details and there's so many things that people need to know what to expect. Because at first, when you start doing it, especially by yourself, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to be as big as a house. Oh, what's going to happen? This is the worst thing I could do for myself. And then we create a certain amount of anxiety, which actually is counterproductive to us digesting properly. So I really encourage watching others go through it and talk about their stories and how they had that same feeling at the end of a certain period of time.
I love it. Phil, did you want to chime in on what priming is to you?
Well, for me, it was so important to do because it was how I was able to go from chronically under eating for 6 years to priming and getting my metabolism back. So we all do priming for different reasons, but it's a great foundation from which you can do feasting and fasting and try the different modalities of carnivore to help heal your body as quickly as possible.
Love it. I did priming for 6 months, by the way. So it really does differ for each person, each background, goal, even age. You know, it really is so personal, and you can make it personal. That's the beautiful thing. Thanks,
Excellent.
Raymond.
Mhm.
Okay. Hi, Juliet. Good to see you. She says, "Hi, love you guys. Love you back. This week, I've had 2 days of small binges after good carnivore intake for last 9 months. That sounds like a victory. Is that
That is-
better than usual or about the same? Give us more details, but that sounds great. Is there a question or no? Okay.
There you
Oh, there we go. I'm tired and my fat intake dropped off, some other stuff out of my control. I am looking for suggestions to go forward. Should I do a mini prime, Raymond?
I'm tired of my
I'm
my
tired
fat intake dropped
and
off
my fat intake dropped
and
off.
some other stuff out of my control. Trying to understand that.
Yeah,
Same.
get
she,
that?
yeah, she was saying she had two small binges in a week,
Yep.
and now she's tired and and her fat intake dropped off, and so
Mm.
that was kind of her
Yeah, I'm
question.
thinking maybe because she was tired and her fat intake dropped off and some other things out of her control, that's maybe what caused the 2 small binges. So
Yes.
yeah, she wants to know how to go forward. Mini prime or fully prime? What do you think?
Mm.
I would start out because you only had like two meals, I'm assuming. That's not so bad. I would go for a micro prime, 3 meals, 3 mads, just to get yourself back. You should notice after that 3rd day, you almost don't want to do it. That's a good sign. Now, if you feel like on that 3rd day, you're like really enjoying it, and go on to a mini prime, which is 5 to 7 days.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Keep us posted. April, do any of you have videos of all of your meals food for one day? I have a lot of those on my Instagram. How about you guys? Todd, do you do that?
Not really, because I feel like it'd be so boring. It's like steak and steak. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So a couple steaks a day usually is 90% of what I eat.
I would still watch it. Yeah. Yeah. Lindy, how about you? Do you?
No, because I eat a little bit differently than anyone else. I have the lap band restriction, so I have to graze throughout the day. So I'd be filming all day because I'm just sort of picking at my plate. I eat like a bird, so it's probably not a good idea to share what I do to everybody because it's just my situation is different. Yeah.
I'm actually curious who watching this right now commented has had the lap band done. Would love to know how many we have tonight because I'm surprised, to be honest, every time it is brought up in interviews that I do or just videos in general, lots of members come forward saying, "Hey, I did it myself." You know?
Yeah.
So it could help a lot of people, Lindy. Mhm.
That's awesome.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Hey, Nav. Thank you so much for the super chats. A lot. Carnivore, 8 months, 3 meals a day, and no weight loss. Last 1.5 months, I've been 1 meal a day and I lost 15 pounds. I did do 2 meals a day before OMAD, but no weight loss. But with OMAD, I do have to deal with some hunger. Advice. Well, if you're dealing with hunger and you're still pushing the OMAD, is that really sustainable? Right? That's the whole
Depends
thing
on
we're
the
trying to
hunger.
get away from.
Right.
Go ahead, Raymond.
Depends on the hunger. So it's all about the intensity of the hunger. Are we talking about the kind of hunger that, you're just like going to go off carnivore? If you're not white knuckling hunger, then it's good. It should be more of a hunger where the feeling goes in a wave. So you'll feel hunger peak and then goes away. When I do my alternate day fast, which today is my fasting day, I felt it right around 12, and I felt it again around 5, 6-ish. But usually that's my common meal time. And when I say I feel it, I feel the rise. I feel the doubts coming into my mind, all of that time. And then about an hour later, I totally forgot that I was even hungry. That's what you're looking for. Now, if it's ever an intensity to the point where you can't stop thinking about food, you've reached that point where that's too much.
Yeah. Anyone else want to chime in for Nav here?
Well, I think the trap here is, 3 mads, no weight loss.
Yeah.
Month and a half of OMAD, lost 15 pounds. That's very encouraging.
Yes.
But when Nav went back to 2 mad, there was no weight loss. So kind of feeling like, oh, do I have to do OMAD to lose weight? And, you know, I think the best strategy here is to do what Raymond said a little bit ago with microprimes and do 3 days of microprime where you do 3 days of 3 meals, then do your OMADs for 2 weeks, then go back and prime again and just do that and see if that isn't sustainable for you, Nav, because what's happening is you're running out of steam because you're OMAD with some hunger. You're probably at that point now that you've exhausted your stores and you need your body to have a little bit of a break. I'm not a big fan of people doing OMADs continuously because
Same.
I think you burn out your metabolism doing that.
You definitely do. And this is just for all the females watching, as somebody who did OMADs for quite a long period, and Raymond knows exactly how much I loved OMADs. I loved it so much that I put like whether or not it was feeding me enough second priority. First priority to me was like, oh my gosh, the mental clarity, the time that I get to save was incredible. I'm just trying to say that it's easy to take it too far with OMADs. It really is. Especially if you're a female, it will eventually, the longer you do it, hurt your hormones. That's just my opinion, and from personal experience, and also from seeing so many women hurt their hormones as well in the community. Just watch out, you know? And Nav obviously doesn't apply to you, but make sure you're eating enough. Okay, thank you. Kathy, welcome. Did anyone have any quick relief from pain on the first week? Or how long did it take? Lindy, how about you? Any quick relief pain when you first went carnivore?
Well, I had a lot of edema and a lot of fluid, which caused pain for me. And that did go down quite a lot within the first couple of weeks. So for that reason, yes. But hip pain and joint pain did take a lot longer for sure.
How long would you say?
Well, 3 years in, and I still have a bit of hip pain.
Oh,
still.
wow.
But
Okay.
it's from carrying so much weight for a lot of years. So whether that'll go, but I thought I'd need a hip replacement, but I'm at the stage where I think it's still healing and I probably won't need to have surgery for it now. So definitely much better.
That's great. Alyssa, how about you?
Yes, within 3 days, I felt a huge difference. I dropped so much just inflammation. And so physically, I felt so much better. But then I kind of started increasing a little bit too many like inflammatory carnivore foods that my body wasn't able to handle. So the more heavy cream that I was having, and unfortunately eggs, I didn't realize eggs and bacon were inflammatory. So I kind of had an increase in pain the more I was eating those things. But once I went lion, just red meat, again, it was like within that first week, the relief that I felt was insane. And I would have just one more thing off lion, and the next morning I'd wake up feeling like I had been run over by an 18-wheeler a few times. So for me, the difference is night and day within a few days. So it can happen.
Amazing. Very inspiring. Todd, can I put up a comment real quick? I caught it in the chat just now. So Latro says, I've made it to 10 months, kicked off my journey at Hack Your Health, Austin, spring 2024, met Bella, thanked her for the inspiration. So I just want to say congratulations. And I'm always so excited to round of applause. I'm always very excited to meet you guys in person because you really have no idea the amount of connection you get to experience when you go to these in-person meetups. It's hard to describe in words. You don't really have any words to describe it until you're there and you feel the vibes. It's like magical. Todd, you recently were at the Phoenix, Arizona meetup. Talk a little bit about just the good vibes.
Oh yeah, it is day and night difference there in person, even from the video calls. Video calls are the next best thing. But what was, I think, the funnest part actually, besides just obviously getting to meet and talk to everybody in person, was when I was watching carnivores in their state and in their town meet each other. Because before I was leaving, I was hearing all these little groups of people that were making plans to like have a barbecue that weekend, and that they're like, you only live 3 miles from me, you only live 5 miles from me, you only live around the corner. And
Yep.
so that I didn't see coming. I was like, that right there is worth its weight in gold, because everybody met up and there was all these little cells of people that were talking with each other, that all came there to be part of the community. And before they left there, they're exchanging numbers and making plans to have barbecue and stuff. So it was pretty amazing.
Let me just jump on that, because I flew all the way to Australia, and it was my first time down under in my life to go speak at the Carnivore Collective in Adelaide, Australia. Yeah. And the most magical moment that I got to witness was somebody in the audience sat next to somebody else, complete strangers, and they found out they lived on the same street. Like, what? It's just incredible. It's
Right.
meant to be this community, I'm telling you. You just never know. And I love it.
is. It's incredible,
Yeah.
for sure. And it makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes to show you too, how hard it is on your own out there, because that means that if people aren't finding that out and they live on the same street, just down the street from each other, it's because, when you're on your own, you're kind of living like a carnivore hermit. you don't want anybody to know this crazy thing you're doing, because everybody does think it's crazy. And that's why these communities are so important, and the meetups too, because we're going to have some numbers and some strength in numbers and community to be able to kind of fight this battle back to some
Yes.
some semblance of reality here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
So let me just take this opportunity to announce some future meetups coming up. So we've got linked down below in the description, and I also dropped it in the live chat. Hack Your Health this year is in Dr. Phil's hometown, Tampa, Florida. So use the discount code all caps Carnivore to save $100 off your ticket. And just FYI, the ticket price, the base price, goes up, I think, after every few months. So if you know you can be there and you definitely want to be there, I do recommend booking your tickets early. And besides Tampa, I'll be flying back to Australia to reunite with Lindy in April for the Carnivore Collective in Melbourne. So Lindy and I will be there. Okay. And we can't wait to meet you. I'll post the details when it's out, but Melissa still needs some time to gather the details for that. And then Tampa, kiltsmeetup.com. For tickets is in just a few weeks. There's a Tampa meetup coming up February 8th, and I'll be there as well as the Carnivore Cruise. So lots going on this year. Perfect.
Sure.
Hey, Ed, my first week inflammation is gone. Awesome. No more swollen ankles, swollen bleeding gums gone. Shortness of breath and wheezing gone. What?
Yeah.
And second week, the skin felt smoother. Fantastic. That's amazing.
That's awesome. Great.
Wow. I would love to hear your results later on. This is crazy quick.
It's just 2 weeks.
Amazing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Ed, for sharing that. Okay, Adrian, welcome. Can I have a cheat day on Carnivore? I would say.
I love it.
Not answering.
That's it. Simple as that. No.
Next.
Wait, I think all of our answers are best not to, but check out my recipes at Bella's Cafe, because you basically are having cheat days with those recipes, but you're still carnivore. Phil?
My answer is not no, it's why.
Right.
Love it.
Why do you think you need a cheat day? And I agree. Try Bella's Cafe. She's got pancakes. She's got all kinds of, you can make pasta, carnivore pasta. I love carnivore pizza. I make my pizza crust with canned chicken breast and Parmesan cheese and an egg. And it is, my wife, who's not a carnivore, loves it. And I give it to make it for people all the time. They can't believe it's totally meat based.
Yeah,
it's incredible. Pizza is a great cheat. And a carnivore pizza, there's no guilt to it. So
that's right.
Exactly. There are ways to feel like cheating. Yeah.
Yeah. In and out In-N-Out lettuce and slice of cheese made my knee swell up and limp for 5 days. It's like
Mm,
it's not worth it. It's so bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's why I'm a pretty hard no on those.
Adrian,
Yeah.
real quick,
yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry.
change that cheat word to sabotage and see if you're willing to do that more often.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is such a good point. Yep.
That's right. Okay, Bridget. I find I am eating around 2 pounds of meat daily. Is that excessive? I'll take this one. In my opinion, no. And Bridget, if you are female, 2 pounds of meat for a woman is incredible. Like, congratulations, keep it up. If your body is craving for the 2 pounds of meat, there's a reason. It's probably repairing, healing something, helping you become a boss woman. Whatever it is, it's for good things. Trust me. Don't freak out if you gain weight initially. It comes off. And just for all the new members watching, I gained 25 pounds, at least 25 pounds. I wasn't obsessing over the scale, but I gained a ton of weight when I first went carnivore. I would not be where I am today, 6 years in, thriving, if I didn't initially gain that weight. And if I did not initially embrace the hunger. You're doing great, Bridget.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I was feeding my dog last night, and I just was thinking, I never really put it together because I just feed her when she's hungry. But my dog weighs 55 pounds, and she eats 2 to 3 pounds of meat every day, and has for
Wow, no way, that much? Wow.
Yeah,
every day
exactly.
without fail. And I'm just like,
Dang.
I think we have been programmed to way under eat, you know?
Exactly. And then you think about being a human, you have to produce hormones to carry children one day. And a lot of women, they're still under eating through their pregnancy. So I just hope to instill this inspiration and encouragement for women, especially, to just eat more, please.
sure.
Great. Okay, Linda Sharon, welcome. Bella, carnivore for gastric sleeve patient. Absolutely, you can do carnivore if you have gastric sleeve. Lindy, did you want to talk about this? Best for you.
Yeah, definitely. I find because I've got the restriction being, the sleeve, lap band, I find it difficult to eat large quantities like Bella and everyone else on the team. So I have to graze and just eat throughout the day, a lot of small meals. And I find the meat is very satiating. So I'll be pecking like a bird and only eat a few bites in a day. And that kind of stalls my weight loss all the time. My hair starts to fall out. So I have to make an effort to prime. And I call my kind of priming is a gentle prime. So just literally grazing a few bites every hour just to get some food into me. And that has slowed down the hair loss, extra fat as well. I've needed to increase that. And that gets the scale moving again. But it's something that I struggle with all the time because the meat is satiating and I'm not hungry. But I literally have to force myself to eat to ramp up that metabolism again. And I know that I'm undernourished when the cravings, my off switch goes, it disappears. I start craving other things, the hair loss, and I start to feel cold or tired and a bit of depression comes in. Then I know it's time to start doing my gentle prime. So about 3 days, having a bowl of meat in front of me, some jerky or something, and I just graze on that all day. Make it my job.
And Lindy, you do get a point where your appetite does open up for a little more?
In a day, my appetite does open up. I still have that restriction there and it gets stuck. So even though if I do push it a little bit too much, then I end up bringing all my food up. So it's just it's a balance. They've wrecked me, and but I can navigate it. I know how to take care of it.
You know your body.
Yeah, and sometimes if you're stressed, I can't get any meat in at all, so I just lean into eggs and I'll have it like an egg drink. I make a coolada, which is egg yolks, a bit of butter, tallow, hot water, and blitz it in a NutriBullet, and I drink that down just to get some egg yolks into me. And that's a really nice meal, especially at night time because you don't want a heavy meal. It's very easy to digest, and I'll sleep like a baby after that. So they're my little tips to navigate the surgery.
Lindy knows all the tricks, especially if you have had gastric sleeve. She really does. She's lived it. She's experienced carnivore and had success. How much weight did you lose, if you don't mind sharing again, Lindy?
Around 500 pounds.
Amazing.
Let that sink in. If it worked for her, it'll work for anyone if you just do it right. And is there one right way? No. You have to experiment. Okay,
That's
great.
And not only that,
I-
you've
yeah.
kept it off.
Yeah, Raymond.
That's the amazing part. But anyway, sorry, I had to
Effortlessly.
mention that.
She's
Yeah.
I've met her in person multiple times now. She is a walking angel. I love her. She's the best. Yes, right? Okay, mom of 6, welcome. Dr. Phil Smith. Can people who have kidney stones do carnivore?
Absolutely. And Todd recently passed some gravel. You just need to be aware that when you have kidney stones, the kidney stones are part of poor metabolism. Your kidneys aren't functioning well. Your stones are either from calcium oxalate, most commonly. Oxalate stones or calcium stones. And some people, when they go carnivore, as the stones start dissolving, they may start passing smaller stones. And Todd actually had what, three days in a
Yeah.
row that you passed some gravel.
Well, yeah,
which
not
was
days in a
nothing
row,
more
but
than a stone breaking up
yeah, not
pretty
days
close
in a row,
together.
But yeah, three in like 8 days. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's a good sign. Your body's dissolving, reconstituting the precipitated minerals that are in your urinary system and absorbing it. And the same with gallbladders, gallstones. We see people with gallstones dissolve their gallstones when they go carnivore. So carnivore is really good for kidney health.
That's awesome. Very true. And you get closer to Jesus because you'll pray if you pass 3 gallstones. Or kidney stones.
Kidney stones
For sure.
Awesome. Hey, Anthony, welcome. Thank you so much. I am type 2 diabetic, and I've gone back to normal blood levels on the carnivore diet after 1 month, on the road to reverse it.
Wow.
That's fantastic. Congrats. Will it go away forever, Phil, if you don't mind?
Yeah, it's a great question. Type 2 diabetes is caused by insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is caused by metabolic disease and inflammation. And you're eating to improve things. The question is, how much damage have you done to your pancreas and insulin axis during the time before you were carnivore? But I would be very hopeful that you have reversed it permanently as long as you continue this way of eating. But I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know. Forever is a long time. But there was a study done in England where they used carnivore, or they used ketogenic diets, actually just low carb diets. It wasn't even defined as ketogenic with diabetes. And 90% of the people with early type 2 diabetes were able to reverse it. And it was interesting, in a group that had it 15 years or longer, 50% reversed it. So we see tremendous results in people on the carnivore way of eating, resolving insulin resistance, you making your insulin sensitive, which is really what the reversing type 2 diabetes is all about. But again, you have to maintain good nutrition to keep it there.
Thank you, Phil.
Right. Back up here.
Awesome. Hi, Selena. Welcome. So Selena's watching from Lima, Peru. Wow, that's awesome. Do any of the panel have any info about carnivore benefit for peripheral neuropathy? Thank you all. Alyssa, Todd?
What is peripheral neuropathy?
Thanks, Todd.
That's where your feet and hands get numb.
Oh yes, tons.
So peripheral neuropathy, the most common cause in the Western world for peripheral neuropathy is actually insulin resistance. It's most commonly
Oh,
associated with
there you
diabetes.
go.
10% of the population of most communities have a peripheral neuropathy. Probably
Mm.
80% of those have it from insulin resistance. Now, when you're doing carnivore, and then there are some that have it for no known reason. And then the rarest cause is heavy metal toxicity, lead poisoning, mercury poisoning, things like that. But the most common by far is insulin resistance diabetes. So the interesting thing is when you have a peripheral neuropathy, the nerves are actually inflamed and they have somewhat it starts with the demyelinated nerves, the pain nerves, and you get painful burning, stinging pain. And eating more fat in the diet, which is part of fatty meats that we eat with carnivore, will help to stabilize those nerve fibers over time. Now, it takes we've seen some people in the community get improvement as early as 6 months, but I usually tell people, probably be 1 to 3 years for most people if you're going to heal peripheral neuropathy. So you have to not give up on it. You just have to be consistent. And as our friend Alyssa here is trying to reverse systemic lupus erythematosus, known as lupus or SLE, she just knows that it's a matter of time before she fully reverses it. So she is like very, very strict. And she's had these other benefits along the way that helps her to understand why she's doing it. And so it's really important to be in community when you have a peripheral neuropathy and be looking for what we call those non-scale victories, the things that are benefiting that you didn't even expect to happen, because the road for peripheral neuropathy healing is very, very long. But most people, when they're in community, begin to recognize that they're having other healing that they didn't even anticipate along the way. And that's what keeps people motivated and keeps them going.
Well said. I love that. Thanks, Phil. Hi, Ricky Tan. Welcome. Hello, I'm on day 2 of carnivore as a complete newbie. Yay, we love newbies. Welcome to the community. Yay. Is there such a thing as too much fat or salt intake when starting out? This is a great question. What do you think, Raymond?
I encourage you to eat as much salt as you want, because going from a carb based to a meat based, it's going to help with your electrolytes at first. Later on, you'll temper off by taste, and that's what we expect. So, but go with taste right now. Now, as far as fats, the same, it can be too much, but go by appetite. You want fat, eat as much fat as you want. There is an issue a little later on if you have too much fat, that it can lead to meat aversion. That's the only issue there. But if your body wants it, give it. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, the body will tell
Well,
you.
let's talk about rendered fat too.
Oh, yeah. Good idea.
Rendered fat. You want to cover that, Raymond?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes, please. So avoid rendered fat if you can. There's some people that don't have a problem with it. What rendered fat is hot liquid fat. So for example, let's say you fried your hamburger in a skillet, and that leftover fat on there, pour it back on. A lot of people do that, and they will eat that, and that is a sure way of getting a meat aversion and a lot of other issues, nausea, diarrhea. Yeah. So that's pretty much rendered fat. Stay away from hot fats. I even say warm fats, liquid type, could be problematic. So preferably stable and cold is best on fats.
That's right. That's right. Okay, Ricky, good luck. Congrats again on day 2. Let's hope you can make it to day 7. Check back with us and let us know, please. Congrats.
Yeah, that's awesome.
See, Bella, this is what I really loved about you, how
Yeah.
you did the sticks of butter. The sticks of butter was always frozen. It's not like you melted it in your coffee or anything like that.
Never.
So you never really had right. You actually had the solid fat, and I think made a big difference for you.
It sure did. And I talk about it like a broken record for a good reason, because whenever I bring it up, people always comment and say, I tried that trick. It absolutely made a difference in
Yes.
not only loose stools, nausea, how I even felt about eating carnivore. So it really does work. Cold fat is better than warm melted fat, always. Okay. Hi, back to Human Podcast. Welcome. Have you heard of pregnant women having success on the carnivore diet? I love this question because too bad Richelle is not here. She's on the team. She
know.
frequently comes to these live streams. Maybe next week. She did announce on social media.
She did announce. She
Okay,
did.
good. So we're good. She's currently pregnant with her second carnivore baby.
Carnivore baby.
So we're celebrating for her right now. But she's not the only one. There's plenty of women literally happening as we speak, getting pregnant on carnivore, having beautiful, healthy pregnancies, and having happy, healthy carnivore babies. So it's happening a lot. And I recommend checking out Richelle. She's actually linked in the description, Real Life Carnivore. And then another good friend of mine, Rebecca Heischman, currently raising a carnivore baby, great pregnancy as well. Her handle is Tailored Keto Health. Tailored Keto Health. So check both of those beautiful ladies out. And I will be next one day, and I'll document and share.
Yay!
Well,
Did you just
let's
say
not
that?
forget our good friend, Dr. Kiltz, who's an
Oh,
infertility doctor
Absolutely.
Yes.
and
He's the-
carnivore. And he encourages carnivore for infertility. So for both the
Exactly.
man and the woman.
Oh, he's the best. Yeah.
Actually, I want to say, so Dr. Kilt sent me one of his clients. She was over 50, but she really wanted to have a child. And we did get her to catch, and it did happen, but unfortunately she did miscarry. But the fact that she was able to was already
incredible.
amazing, right? You know, so it's possible.
Oh my gosh. That is so cool.
And I've witnessed it. Oh, and she was diabetic. So, you know, against all the grains, she still was.
She still made it happen.
Right.
There's a lot of hope.
Yeah.
Right.
Hi, swine dog. What is the best way to find a carnivore friendly doctor?
Right here. Wait, wherever
Right there.
he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
Phil, do you want to chime in?
So actually, Lindy can post the, there's a website you can go to. And we like to promote Rivera for Dr. Baker's organization.
Yes.
As our number one, but there's another, and I always forget the URL. I'm like the mayor of Los Angeles. Contact URL.
The Rivero? Is that what you're talking about?
No. The other one. The other
the
one.
Diet Doctor one.
Diet Doctor.
Yeah.
website.
That's another great site, actually. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Well,
those are-
it's carnivore friendly, so more keto-ish,
More
but
low
it doesn't
carb.
matter. Yeah, more low carb. That's it. Low carb.
yeah, still better than a SAD pushing doctor. Yeah.
But Rivera.com. Check them
Perfect.
out.
Definitely. Okay. Yep. Before I get to Tom and Nina, let me just shout out some live chat members here. I see Damon's here. Is this our Damon in SPG?
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay, never mind. I thought that was him. But hi, Damon. Welcome. And I also want to give a shout out to Hoosier Carnivore, Brett. Thank you so much for helping out in the chat. I see you pretty much every single time. I don't know how you always make time for us. We're so lucky. Thank you, Brett. Fantastic. And a great place for help. Thank you, Todd, is our carnivore community, which is linked right there and in the description as well. We do have doctors visiting every single week. And today we had Dr. Hampton, top of today, and then Dr. Baker just now. So we had 2 doctors in one day. It's just a lot of great expert guidance.
Yes.
Perfect. Tom, Dr. Smith, have you learned of anyone healing an aneurysm through carnivore diet, exercise, and biomarker hacking? Which biomarkers or blood tests would you consider the most vital?
Oh, this is a very difficult question. It's so funny that you would ask this because I haven't specifically heard of anyone healing an aneurysm, but my wife came up with a vascular tumor in her kidney that was discovered about 5 months ago and showed up on an ultrasound. And she's not carnivore, but she has been doing keto. And it was about 5 millimeters. And the kidney specialists were telling us that it probably will grow. And once it gets to 3 centimeters, it'll have to come out. And that means taking the whole kidney out because it's a vascular tumor. It's a benign tumor, but they grow and they can hemorrhage like an aneurysm can. And she had her CAT scan last Friday, and it actually went from 5 millimeters down to 2 millimeters.
Oh, wow.
It's actually regressed. And the whole reason to do the test was to see how fast it's growing, and it's actually gone backwards and gotten less than half the size. And so they said, oh, we're not even going to have to measure this for the next 2 years. And we were talking about possibly her having a kidney out in 3 to 5 years. And that's pretty much off the table now because of her just eating keto. So I think, blood vessel damage. This is a tumor it's got a long name. It's a myoangiolipoma. It's a collection of muscle, fat cells, and a very vascular tumor. And it grows to the point where it literally explodes and you bleed to death immediately. And that's why they have to take them out. And they're pretty rare. But the fact that hers has totally regressed is probably due to the vascular component regressing. So I'm very pleased with that. Now, back to exercise is good, carnivore diet's good. Biomarker hacking. What biomarkers or blood tests do you consider the most vital? Well, that is a $10,000 question because that is so specific to your age, to your gender, to your metabolic health. And I think it's a great question to know, where do you start and where do you end? And what do you do to monitor? We're kind of fascinated in the United States with blood tests and MRIs and CTs, and we do way, way too much of this. But I think everyone probably benefits from having a good baseline metabolic health assessment. And the test that I recommend people have is a baseline TSH, which is thyroid stimulating hormone. And as a screen, a glycohemoglobin, hemoglobin A1C, which is a measurement of your insulin resistance as evidenced by your average blood sugar over the last 90 days, a vitamin D level, because we see so much vitamin D deficiency. And I think a CBC is a good test, and a complete metabolic profile, which checks out your liver and kidneys, all in a couple tests. So those are good baseline tests to do. And then if you have specific findings on those, you can go a little deeper. But I don't think a lot of this more esoteric stuff is really helpful. It can get really confusing. The last thing would be your lipids, to know where your triglyceride and your HDL is, because you want your triglycerides under 150 and your HDL over 50, HDL cholesterol. And if those are both good and your glycohemoglobin or hemoglobin A1C are good, that gives you a pretty good idea that you have pretty good metabolic health. And
Thank
then
you.
Perfect. Yeah, that's kind of a good start.
Awesome. Okay. Sorry, Todd. Was there something?
Yeah. Two things. One, we had Dave Mack on our live stream last Sunday, and he actually had a stroke from a brain aneurysm, and I don't know if that's the same thing, but he had an aneurysm. But it did. I guess it must have either caused a stroke or maybe it burst. I don't know if that's the same thing. But all of his stuff, like he was dragging his left leg around and everything, and it all healed up. I thought that was interesting. So I was just going to say that about the aneurysm.
Yeah. Well, brain aneurysms are typically congenital and they're familial. So if you have a family history of someone having a brain aneurysm, we actually screen people. And I had the unfortunate experience of having to tell my daughter's class when she was 12 that one of her classmates died in her sleep one night from a brain aneurysm. And I felt so bad. This was after I retired. I wasn't the doctor involved. I just happened to be volunteering at the school that day, and they pulled everyone. It was a small private school, and we pulled everyone into the gymnasium to tell them one of their classmates died in their sleep, which is very traumatic for a 12-year-old, to lose a classmate. But the grandmother had a brain aneurysm and had died from that. And no one thought to screen the kids and the grandkids. It was such a tragedy. And it was really a tragedy because her daughter, the girl who died, her dad's a cardiologist.
Oh, wow.
But, aneurysm. So when people talk about aneurysms, the two most common aneurysms are the brain aneurysms, which are usually not detectable and they're found incidentally, or there's a family history. And then aneurysms of the abdominal aorta, which is usually due to atherosclerotic disease or hypertension. And those are typically age-related. They may slow their progression with carnivore. I don't think an abdominal aortic aneurysm is necessarily going to go away, but it certainly could stabilize because you're taking the inflammation out of the blood vessel wall when you're doing carnivore long enough. So it'll be interesting to know.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Phil, for that.
All right, real quick. I'm going to.
Yeah, Raymond, you got to drop off? Okay, no problem.
So
This is also a good time for anyone who needs to drop off. Please don't feel pressure to join for the whole marathon, all of you.
was awesome.
I'll say another 10 and then I'm going out. And then I'm out of here.
Love you, Raymond. Thank you so much.
You,
Raymond. Thanks, man.
Enjoyed it.
Bye, Raymond. See you next week, Raymond.
Yeah. See you next week.
Night. Hi, Reed. Do A blood types. Type blood A. Do well on carnivore. My wife and I have both lost 30. Congrats. I am O and she is B. My in-laws have lost nothing in the 5 months we have been doing it. He is a B and she is an A. So what are our thoughts on, blood type diets? What works for carnivore, Todd? You're laughing.
Sorry. I just thought it read out funny. That's all.
Oh.
It just read out funny.
How?
Oh my goodness. I'm a blood type A. I must be awful at this.
I can already hear.
So there's an old joke on Dick Van Dyke Show back in the 60s. So tell your in-laws to go kill a chicken, stand in the front yard and throw it over their right shoulder, and carnivore will work fine after that.
I do not get it.
That's the point.
Yeah, it's a ritual.
Okay.
It's a ritual. I'm not buying all these concerns about your blood type determining your metabolism.
You don't think our ancestors ate appropriately for their blood type? They go down and check their blood type and then go kill the appropriate animal or eat a radish or something?
They had no need for blood types because if you bled, you died.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Yep.
So anyway, yeah, chicken, you got to kill the chicken yourself, throw it over your right shoulder on your front yard. And then you'll start losing weight on carnivore. It works every time.
That's a doctor's opinion. So
exactly. And I'm sure everybody else agrees that this is bogus, right? Blood types not really a thing. Yeah.
Well, there are people trying to make great claims about this, and
Books being
it's
written.
yeah.
As
I mean,
an
it's
example, do you guys want to share your blood type just to see
Yeah,
like the
let's do it.
variety
Let's
we
do
have
it.
here?
I'm B.
I'm O,
I'm
negative.
A
A.
positive.
I'm red. I don't know. I don't.
You don't know, which is
I have no
as
clue.
expected. And Lindy, you don't know. Oh, you're
You're
muted, Lindy.
muted.
Oh, you did it.
A, I think, is what she said.
A positive.
A
Sorry.
positive. Wow.
Oh well, you've only lost 500 pounds. It must not work for you.
I know, right? Oh my gosh. Yeah,
We
you
got
know,
A,
Anyway.
B, O, and we're all over the place and we're all thriving.
anybody can benefit from carnivore. And by the way, I looked into the book and I just was so curious to see what was recommended for mine, which is blood type B. Vegan diet is recommended for type B, plant-based.
Well,
That's the diet that ruined my health.
is there a blood type that book recommends carnivore for?
Absolutely, it's O.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
yeah.
That's funny.
Well, you know why that is. The O's the universal donor, and they want all the O's to have lots of red blood cells and be healthy, so they can give blood to the vegans.
Everybody should get that. Yeah. B12.
Anyway, we don't want to make fun of the in-laws, but
Not at all. Not at
at
all.
some point you need to move on and figure out what do the in-laws need to do, or what are they not
What to
doing.
troubleshoot. Exactly.
And we always recommend starting with spending a couple weeks of really eating really well, and that's what we
Yes.
call priming.
Priming. Absolutely. Okay. Would love to know what everybody's blood type is, just because. Put it in the chat in the comments. Caleb, what is Revero? So Revero is Dr. Sean Baker's basically online hospital system. Like you can get a doctor to help you heal, get through whatever health concerns you want to get through with carnivore diet in mind, which is life-changing because most doctors are going to prescribe, things that we don't necessarily need because they don't address diet first. At Revero, it will be different because it is low carb, carnivore friendly doctors only. Okay. Next. Awesome. I eat meat. Welcome. I was 303 and started 2 weeks ago, and now I'm 288 pounds. I'm assuming that is amazing. Congratulations. I've been eating 6 eggs plus 1 pound of ribeye and 3 liters of water each day. Is this enough each day? Thank you, Todd.
I don't think so. Not enough. I think double that and you'd be somewhere in the ballpark. But yeah, that's not enough, in my opinion. But
yeah, because we've got small women who are like trying to lose weight or even gain weight. It doesn't really matter what your weight loss goals are. We have small women eating 3 to 4 pounds of meat. Doesn't mean you have to compete with those women, but I'm just saying, like, if those types of people are going carnivore eating that much, you can definitely benefit from pushing the boundaries a little bit, at least. You don't have to force yourself, just try to eat more. Yeah.
For sure.
Great. Gunther, welcome back. I used to use 1/4 of a teaspoon leveled of Redmond kosher salt per meal, and I eat 2 meals a day. Too salty and bad fatigue after meals. I halved the salt to 1/8 teaspoon per meal. Better taste, less fatigue. Can salting beyond taste cause fatigue? This is such a cool question because he's basing it off of how he felt directly from too much salt and then a little less. And I don't know if you heard, Gunther, but there are a lot of no salt carnivores now. Every time I do these lives and I talk about it with Todd, more appear. So I think it's a natural thing. Like the longer you go carnivore, the less salt you need. Do you want to chime in, Todd?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think I was ever going to quit salt because salt's awesome. But then, I lost my taste for it, and I haven't salted anything in probably close to 8 or 9 months now. Yeah. So,
why though? Was it just natural?
Just natural. I wasn't choosing to quit it by any means. It just salt started to taste too salty, and it got to where I didn't want it anymore. So it's very strange, but I don't crave it now. And now meat tastes salty on its own. In fact, one of my biggest problems eating bacon now is that it tastes too salty.
Way too much. I cannot even eat that. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Let me check. Alyssa, do you salt?
I do, but it goes up and down. I seem to go through, like, over the last year and a half. I was salting, and then I got heavy salting, and then all of a sudden I stopped craving it and everything was too salty. So I went a few months without salting anything, and now I just lightly salt whenever I want it. It's just like it just changes
I
all
love
the
that.
time.
Lindy, do you still salt?
Yeah, occasionally. I used to salt a lot like Alyssa, and now it's just every other day. Just if I feel like it, I have it, and other days I prefer none. So
Perfect.
Mm.
And then Phil, do you salt?
Yeah, I quit salting most of my foods. The only thing I salt now is I'll salt a steak on both sides just to get it a little crispier because it dehydrates it. So you get a little more Maillard reaction on it when you cook it. But I don't salt hamburger. I don't salt eggs, and
Yeah.
I have dramatically cut down on the salt.
I love it. Just goes to show you might have phases of no salt. You might just crave for it less. Some OG carnivores to learn from who have no salt, as part of their journeys is Amber O'Hearn. She's an OG, fantastic source of info. And Dr. Chafee's currently no salt now. And then Dana Spencer, who's also an OG. Okay.
Perfect. All right. Oh, and I got to ask Phil a question. I just was thinking about this because I got called out in the chat on our last live stream about the Lugos and about the 2% having 1% of iodine in it.
Yeah. I know
right.
you're wrong. No, you're not.
No, but stop for just a second. If you read the deal, I think it's just because I don't understand the difference between iodine and potassium iodide.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Because the 2% has 1 milligram of iodine per drop and 1.5 milligrams of potassium iodide in it per drop on the 2%.
Yeah.
So I think that's
the 2% has 2.5. So when you take 10 drops of 2%, that's 25 milligrams.
If you count the potassium iodide, right?
Yeah, you have to. It's total potassium.
Okay, so that's where I'm getting it wrong then, because when I looked it up, I didn't count I was like, I'm taking iodine. I don't know what this iodide is. So that's why I wasn't counting that.
Yeah, there's just two different forms of iodine in the Lugol's.
Okay, so that's what's getting me. I didn't know that iodide and iodine was the same thing.
Well, they're not the same thing, but they both have iodine in them.
They both have iodine. Well, right, because there's iodide has what, 76% iodine in it, and then 24% salt. It sounds like, or potassium.
Well, the iodide is a salt. It means it's got electrolyte with it. Iodine is the pure element. So,
but it says that you take that. I don't know. I was reading some crazy stuff on because I'm like, well, what am I missing here? Because when I pull up the J. Crow's Lugol chart, it just said that. So I was like, what am I missing here? Because this keeps being commonly said that that's wrong. And so when I was reading it, it said that you just take the potassium iodide because of radiation poisoning or something to the thyroid.
Well, actually, radiation poisoning is. We use potassium iodide to treat radiation poisoning. So if the Cylons bomb the home planets, nuke the home planets, we all need to be using Lugols to protect us from radiation poisoning.
Oh, that's awesome. So I'm gonna survive a nuke blast then.
You probably will with as much that you take, but
yeah.
But 25 milligrams is 10 drops of 2%. And the thing that really freaks you out is 5% is exactly twice the concentration. So even though you're going from 2% to 5%, you would think 4% would be twice as much. But because the 2% is really 2.5% and the 5% is 5%, when you go to 5%, you cut the drops in half to get the same dose.
Okay, is that because the dropper gets a different size?
You're getting a higher concentration per drop.
Oh, okay. So what? So then wouldn't that make 2% 3.125 milligrams of
No.
total iodine? Well, because I'm just saying
No.
that the Lugol's
No.
5% says 6.25 milligrams total per drop.
Yeah. You want to know of what is the bioavailable iodine. And
Okay.
if you do 10 drops of 2%, that's 25 milligrams. If you do 20 drops, that's 50 milligrams. So rather than do 20 drops, we put you on 5%, and you
Right.
do 10 drops. You cut the drops in half and do 10 drops of
Okay.
5% is equivalent to 20 drops of 2%. And that's
I
really
need a-
confusing.
It is, because I need a freaking decoder, because I just had this chart up and it said that the 5% of Lugol's has 6.25 milligrams per drop of total if you add those two numbers up. So, but are you saying that's because the potassium is 24%? I did find that is 24% sodium then, which
Yeah,
also
you're
drives
you're
me nuts.
talking about a salt. So
Right.
So anyway,
Okay, so that's B1.
it's how much of bioavailable iodine you're getting per dose.
All right.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, they couldn't have made
Does that
that
make
any
sense?
easier.
Wow,
No,
that is some
it-
confusing
It's
stuff.
not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm right, and I would be right to say that the reason that they're not putting it just on the bottle is because it's J. Crow's isn't the one that went through the whole deal to make it so you could take it orally, you know.
Yeah, they're not it's not a prescription medicine. It's an over-the-counter iodine, and so you have to go to an independent source to know what the conversion is.
All right.
And nobody knows what you need. I mean, you had an obvious iodine deficiency because when you replaced your iodine, you started seeing your color vision came back, which is a great example of an iodine deficiency.
For sure. And apparently I'm taking 100 milligrams a day.
Which you probably could cut back to 50 now.
Okay, perfect. Which I
'Cause
thought I was taking this whole time.
Your body should be full now.
Awesome.
Lindy,
So
who
I have-
are you waving at, Lindy?
Oh, missed. It just says wave to Lindy, so I was waving at missed.
Aw.
There you go.
Yay. I also saw someone say, Lindy, you have such a beautiful smile, and I agree.
Oh,
Just
thank
wanted to
you.
note that. Love it. All right, shall we continue, guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
Richie, I have blood clots in my legs. Am I able to do the carnivore diet, Todd?
I've never had a blood clot, but I know, well, Phil's got one, and I think absolutely so. Right?
Yeah, I actually have an arterial clot right now, and I'm on carnivore. I had a clot in my artery following a cardiac cath back in November, and I have an 8-inch long clot in the artery. Boy, that was painful. But yeah, there's no contraindication of doing carnivore. In fact, it will help to reduce the concurrent inflammation that you have in your veins. Usually when we're talking blood clots in the legs, we're talking about veins. So I'm assuming you're on a blood thinner, and there's no problem with you being carnivore.
There we go. Perfect.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Hi, NC. How does spices, herbs, and supplements figure in all of this? I'll take this. Spices, spice away. When you first start carnivore, go ahead. They're like, don't do the whole strict lion diet or all plants are poison, cut it all out now. You should spice and you should use the herbs and enjoy the flavors and all of that. Supplements, though, is a different story. It just depends on the person. It's up to you. Like, how quickly do you want to cut out from your diet, because carnivore is absolutely sufficient for all of the vitamins and nutrients, by the way. It's really just up to your comfort level. Okay. Hello. Anyone have a grounding mat that, yep. So it was called, Alyssa, if you don't mind refreshing.
Hooga. Hooga. Hooga is the brand that Raymond and I have.
Hooga is a good one. Thank you.
Isn't that one of those things that Middle Easterners smoke tobacco out of, like 6 at a time?
I think that's
No.
hookah.
Hookah.
That's a
Yeah,
hookah.
that's a hookah.
I'm sure it's a play on words, though.
Hookah. Yeah. All right. Michelle, newer to carnivore, welcome. We cheated over the holiday and felt worse. About to have 36th surgery, and I have 4 autoimmune diseases, psoriasis being one. I had it. Has anyone else or anyone healed on carnivore diet, not just Lion? Oh my gosh. Thousands upon thousands have healed on a carnivore diet. You do not need to go Lion to heal. Period. You do not need to go Lion to heal. Carnivore can give you the healing and the benefits before having to try Lion. So please don't suffer by jumping on the Lion diet because you think that's the only way. Let's see. Alyssa, do you want to chime in here?
Yeah, I mean, I experienced so much healing just going to carnivore for several months, and it was not until I realized that I could feel a little bit better that I went to like cutting out other things and went down to Lion diet. But not everybody has to go down to Lion diet. I think if you want to experiment with it for a few days and see if you feel any different, but I think would you guys say like 99% of carnivores are experiencing healing without having to go on Lion diet? So
Yes,
Sure.
absolutely.
Yeah. I do want to make the point, though, that we see a lot of skin issues that
Yeah.
are very sensitive to dairy.
Yeah.
And,
Here. Right.
that's probably one thing that I would be a little cautious about: cheese and milk and heavy
point.
cream, and things like that. If the
Yeah.
psoriasis is persisting, but psoriasis can be tough to heal. But
Right.
most people start to see improvement within 6 months, but it might take longer.
Skin will be the last to heal. Yeah, keep us posted, Michelle. Thank you. Okay. Reed, welcome. Love you guys. My wife and I are doing carnivore and we've lost 25 and 30 pounds each. Congrats. And I love it. But my in-laws, yeah, that was the same question. He did a super chat to get it answered.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. Jill, do any of you take / have experience with MCT oil? I have heard it really increases ketones and brain function. We actually get this question a lot, like almost every week in our lives is related to MCT. I have no experience. Anybody else here have experience with MCT?
Well, let's talk about the benefits of MCT. So medium chain triglycerides they have 10 to 12 carbon atoms in them per molecule. And the interesting thing about it's 2 of your essential oils, and we have low chain triglycerides and we have long chain triglycerides. And the short and the long chain ones, they do not get absorbed by your intestine into your hepatic system, your liver function. They actually have to go through your lymphatics. And if you have lymphedema and don't have good functioning lymphatics, lymphedema is where you're overloaded with fluid, you have a lot of edema all over your body. Lindy experienced this. I think Todd experienced this. And you just can't absorb the essential fats that you need. And so MCT is especially good to supplement with if you do have a lot of lymphedema, because you can get those 2 essential fatty acids into your bloodstream and start the healing process while you're doing it. It also helps to speed up ketosis in some people, but I really only recommend it for that specific use because I think your body will do better just going to carnivore and healing as fast as it heals and not using any of these what I call exogenous ketones or MCT oils to try to jumpstart your results.
Love it. Thank you, Phil. Todd, can I put up a quick question about the community real quick from I Eat Meat? So I Eat Meat is on the verge. They want to know when I sign up, are there like coaches who can help me and set up a meal plan? So you'll get a lot of help. You'll not only get help from coaches, but also our favorite doctors in the community. But we also do give out weekly meal plans with all of our favorite meals and recipes that really do help keep carnivore diet interesting, but also keep the inflammation low. So those meal plans are really, really good. And then the coaches are just there to answer your questions live and tailor carnivore for you. Okay. And the link to join is in the description box. I'll also put it in the live chat for you. Thank
All right.
you. Hi, April. Bella, have you seen, what is this? VERHES of anyone developing high protein induced kidney stones? I have a friend who was told that. So maybe that's a typo. Have you seen anyone develop high protein induced kidney stones? Personally, I have not. But Phil, do you want to chime in?
Well, I think we're mixing metaphors here. Injured kidneys sometimes have high protein in them, but there's other reasons you can have high protein in your urine. It doesn't always mean kidney damage, but kidney stones are more related to your your metabolic health, where protein is more related to your kidney health. And yeah, I could see where someone might put those two together, but the mechanisms of how they happen physiologically are quite different. So one doesn't tend to cause the other, but they could coexist. But both of them do improve with going carnivore way of eating over time. So I wouldn't be adverse to being carnivore.
And does eating a high protein diet hurt your kidneys in any way, shape, form, and fashion?
Well, not in the doses that we use in carnivore. So there was some research they did back in the 60s where they were giving people huge amounts of protein. People thought that might damage kidneys. And then there was this theory where people with chronic kidney disease, especially from diabetes, would start to see protein in your urine. And they actually thought, well, you're losing protein from your kidneys, so you need to restrict the kidneys. And then they found with research that that was actually 180 degrees wrong, that you don't restrict the protein, you actually give more protein. So we usually recommend about 1 gram to 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight. And that's not high protein, that's adequate protein. That's the minimum you should have a day. And that is very healing for your kidney and often will resolve what we call protein in the urine or proteinuria. Although some carnivores see it temporarily, it's just signs that your kidney needs to be healed. And the most common cause of protein in the urine is actually diabetes in the Western world.
Awesome. Thank you, Phil. Steph, do you think bowling is resistance training? I use a 14-pound ball and bowl 6 days a week, about 1 to 2 hours. That's fantastic. Like, that's a really, really good way to keep active. Anything that you enjoy that you can do over and over and nonstop is the way to be moving your body. Can you take it a notch further down the line? Maybe. Do it when you can. That's all that matters. Great. Hi, Jill. I've been carnivore 6 months, but still having a lot of burning, stomach pain, acid, burping when I try to eat only 2 meals a day. So I'm guessing H. pylori is what's causing it. I've had it in the past. Any suggestions? Alyssa, do you want to chime in on this with the burning, stomach pain, burping?
Yeah, I had so much stomach pain when I first started, and I never really fully found out exactly what it was, but I just had to start out very small meals. I was eating about 2 ounces every 2 hours, and I would set a timer so that I wouldn't go past about 2.5 hours. And that's how I had to eat for the first few months. And eventually it healed. And then after about a year of doing carnivore, I actually gave up coffee and my digestion got even better. So if that's something that maybe you want to play around with and see if maybe taking out something or eating smaller meals more frequently could help, that might be a good thing to experiment with.
Perfect. Great tips. Thank you, Alyssa. Caleb, what fast food places have the cleanest meat patties? Okay, this is a good question. In-N-Out, do we all agree that's a safe place? In-N-Out?
I don't know. I've never tried. Don't eat the cheese or the lettuce.
Oh, you didn't try the patties on its own?
I
Just
never
the
had
one?
the pat. I didn't. It was the first time. We don't have those here, so I don't
Right.
get to try them often.
They mix mustard in with their patties, right?
Well, if you order it that way, but you can also do plain. And I order it puppy patties because that's a
Mhm.
guaranteed way to get it plain. No salt even for their
Okay.
puppy patties. Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm a
Okay.
Five Guys guy. I like their
Yeah,
Five Guys. Got
those are
really
good too.
good. Yeah.
Very, very good.
Yeah,
And
I go to McDonald's. I buy
Oh.
the quarter pounders on the a la carte menu, and I get 4 to 8 of them depending on,
love it.
and they're the least expensive for me, and they're very consistent. They're always the same. So, and they're
Yeah.
clean.
I've also heard Wendy's and Burger King are also pretty safe
Really?
options. And then Culver's for anybody who has Culver's.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. So if you're not sure, just call ahead and ask them, do you have seed oils? Do you cook with seed oils? They typically will tell you if they do or not. No, no, Thomas, you don't have to do the air quotes when you order puppy patties. I just wanted
But it helps.
What
It's like a
advice?
secret handshake. It's like the hidden 20 in Vegas.
What is that?
Oh, the hidden 20 when you go get your hotel room, you put a $20 bill under your credit card, and when you hand it to them, it's hidden. And so the person that's booking your room, if there's one available, they'll give you a free room upgrade, and they'll pocket the 20. If there's not, they'll give it back to you. I've done it several times. It actually works.
Oh
Just put
my
a 20
God.
under your debit card when you hand it to them because they don't want the cameras to see.
Sure,
But
sure.
it works.
Wow.
You'll end
Yeah.
up with a suite for $20. It's pretty funny.
Whoa. Okay. I'm gonna try it on the cruise.
There you go. I've never tried it on a cruise, but it works. It works at the REF for sure.
Cool. Okay, let's all chime in and share our favorite spots for clean meat patties because you guys know best, the community. Awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hi, because you asked. Hello, everyone. To confirm, the only way to ask a question and get nope, you do not have to get a super chat involved. You can simply just do what you did is put a question. We'll eventually get to it.
You answered too quickly. I was going to let you read that out, and then I was going to take it off the screen and move on.
Oh my God. Next time this happens, you can do that.
Hey, there's been, with the MCT oil, there's been a lot of flurry over in the
Okay.
chat. So I want to
Oh,
do a
wow.
little follow up with that because
Yes, please.
So Dr. Boss, who's actually here in Tampa, and Annette Bosworth, she is, if you want to learn more about MCT oil, it's actually one of her side businesses is selling you MCT oil. And she does a lot of videos on it. She talks about it in her books. And she's a big believer in using MCT oil and canned ketones. So if you watch her, you're probably going to be, and she wants you to monitor your ketones and your blood sugar with Keto Mojo, and she sells you all this stuff. So we don't do all those add-ons with SPG. We just think you should buy meat and animal products and eat. But there's been some questions come about gallbladders. If you have gallstones, if you're having gallbladder issues, should you use MCT oil or what should you do? And a lot of Americans, I assume anyone eating Western diets, have a lot of gallbladder dysfunction. And gallbladder dysfunction means that your gallbladder either has stones, the bile has become sludge, it's actually thickened up, or it's not emptying correctly, or you've had a gallbladder taken out and all you have is a bile duct. Now, bile, the purpose of bile is to mix with the digesting food to do a process we call emulsification. So it increases the surface area, so your pancreatic enzymes, your lipases and proteases can better digest the food so they can be absorbed. And so a lot of people with gallbladder disease, when they first go on carnivore, they can have fat intolerance, they can get gallbladder pain, or they can even get bile reflux. And the difference between bile reflux as opposed to acid reflux is normally at the early when you're eating. Bile reflux comes about an hour after you eat. It's a very sour tasting, bitter taste in the back of your throat. Okay. And that's bile, that's not acid. Acid's more of a burning sensation. So, and if you want to get your gallbladder healthier or you have a dysfunctional gallbladder, what you want to do is start with leaner meats, eat more frequent, smaller meals, and give yourself a controlled amount of fat that you can increase over time. And I usually tell people, eat something lean like sirloin and then put one pat of butter with it for your meal. Do that 3 times a day. If you can tolerate that after a week, go up to 2 pats of butter. By the time you get to a tablespoon of butter with each meal, you should be able to eat just about any fatty meat you want. But that gives your gallbladder a chance to get into the rhythm of carnivore. It increases your cholecystokinin, which is the hormone that causes the gallbladder to and empty in it, and it will dissolve and your gallstones will start to dissolve and the sludge will go away. So that's a strategy for all you that are asking about gallbladder. Taking MCT.
They almost took my gallbladder out. When I, just right before I started carnivore, I was having so much gallbladder pain. I was in and out of the hospital 3 or 4 times. And in those first few months too, because I was really trying to hop on this whole 80-20 high fat carnivore really fast. And from coming from a 0 fat diet to all of a sudden flooding my system, I had a lot of sludge, they said. And several times they wanted to schedule me for surgery, but then there was some kind of, my health was in a really bad place. So they said, you need to kind of pass these other health tests before we can take it out. And I'm so glad they never took it out, because now I have 0 gallbladder issues and I'm able to eat as much fat as I'm craving for, which some days is a lot.
Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you shared that, because a lot of people struggle with that exact decision. If you just give it some time and maybe don't jump right into high fat carnivore when you start, is probably the best path. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you, Phil, for addressing that.
So I cannot find a question to go with this, Donna.
Donna, type your question.
Yes, please. And so, we'll save that and come back. And then Ben did that, but then he did this. So
oh my God. Ben. Okay, I know Ben because we chat all the time on Instagram. He's such a wonderful supporter. Thank you for all the support. Seriously, you're such a great carnivore and also member of the community, because anytime I post anything, he always reshares it. He always tells me he tried a recipe, tags me in his recipes. I love it all. And it's very good to see you here, Ben. Welcome.
That's awesome. All right. So Donna, if you want to post your question, I'll come back and check for it.
Yes, please. We'll circle back to Donna.
Did we do this one yet?
No, we have not. Hi, Dawn. This week, I started to not want to eat anything. Hamburger just makes me sick to my stomach. Plus, I'm just so tired. I've been doing so well this week. Is this normal? Sounds like meat aversion, Dawn. Maybe switch it up. Don't eat hamburger and try something else. What about some eggs and pork belly? That sounds good.
For
Try
sure.
some pork belly. Yeah, variety. We'll fix it. I am crumbs. If someone is on Wegovy, should they stop prior to starting the carnivore journey, Phil?
Wow. The best way to get off of GLP-1s is to never start them. So, yeah, the way you get off these is we've had people start carnivore on them. We have people that are still taking them on carnivore. We have people that have stopped and got them out of your system. The problem about stopping getting them out of your system is they have a very long half-life and they're not truly completely out of your system for months. So I would just get started on your carnivore journey. And if you talk to your doctor about stopping it, it will wean out of your system just on its own by not taking it.
Awesome. Hi, Sarah. Welcome. My husband and I are beginners. Oh, welcome. How did you prepare that many eggs to make them different but healthy? I think maybe she's referring to when we started off with eating, like Todd, you said you ate, up to or more than 40 plus eggs. I was saying 24. So how do you cook them?
I didn't. I separated the yolks from the whites, and then I drank them 18 at a time raw. But I was doing that for testosterone, and that worked. So that was worth it. And honestly, it's 18 egg yolks. It's not that much. It's about 12 ounces, and they taste just like egg yolks, even raw. So they taste great. So
did you even like
I put a
blend it
little
or mix
salt on
it
them.
at all? Okay,
I
but
put a
you ate
little
it.
salt.
Got
I'd
it.
salt the top of it, and then so like my dad used to say, he's like, it's like drinking from a spittoon. Once you start, you can't stop. You gotta
keep
chug
going
the whole
until you're
12
done.
ounces. Yeah,
So you don't break up the yolks, you just dump them
No.
in.
Yeah, I just
Okay.
dumped them in. Yep.
Nice.
So worked just fine. Yeah.
That's great. And Sarah, if you would prefer to cook it, you can do just fried sunny side up. Those are real easy. Just put it on a nice big pan skillet. I love egg pudding. Have you tried that? Just posted it on my channel. That's steamed, so it's a little bit lighter and more refreshing. You can also do scrambled eggs. One day I had a whole egg fast feast day because all I wanted was eggs. This was early on in my journey. I was like, I'm just going to eat eggs today. I had a whole feast of scrambled, poached, fried sunny side up, and steamed with a stick of butter. Eat it however you want. Enjoy. Okay, Michelle, thank you so much. She says, really appreciate all of you. Thank you. Thank you. That's so sweet.
That's
Do you have
right.
a question? Okay.
I haven't seen one. Well, wait a minute. Here's one right here. Way up here.
Ah, perfect. So, newer, we cheated over the holiday and we felt bad. Oh, yes, we did do this. Alyssa did a great job answering it.
Oh,
So,
perfect.
perfect.
Let's-
Thank you, Michelle. John, 78-year-old male carnivore of 7 months, and I itch all over the whole time. Is it oxalate dumping still? Could be. It's very possible. So the reason why I say it's very likely that it's oxalate is because of the itching all over, because that's exactly what I had. 7 months is interesting though, because mine lasted like the itching where it got worse lasted the first 3 to 4 months. What did help, I just remembered, is I cut out the egg whites. Unfortunately, you might need to cut out the egg whites just to stop flaring it up. Cut out the dairy. That could be the next step if the egg whites don't do the trick. But definitely start with cutting out egg whites. It actually might fix it for you, John. Keep us
And
posted.
can
Yeah,
I just,
I think we have to consider histamine.
Yes.
Is that what you were going to say, Alyssa? Go ahead.
well, that was part of it, but I was just going to say that, Bella had to cut out dairy at one point. She had to cut out eggs at one point and cheese. And now she can eat it all and she's not having these reactions. So there's hope. So I just want to throw that out there for anyone who may have to, like, she gives me hope every day. Like right now I'm on a very strict lion diet, low histamine, but I do have hope that I'm going to be able to have all the carnivore foods one day soon. So sorry, go ahead, Phil.
No, I just think, there are strategies to eat low histamine foods, eating smaller animals like lamb and things like that. And don't eat aged meat, eat fresher meats.
Exactly.
And try that for a week and see if that helps your symptoms. But I'm glad Alyssa made that point, because
Me too.
I think so many people think what happens at one point is the way it's going to be moving forward. And I have had so many waves of different things. I had palate fatigue where I just could not eat another ribeye. And I began diving into Bella's Cafe and her recipes and trying different things. And that lasted about 6 weeks, and then it went away and I'm back to eating ribeyes again. So.
Oh, wow. I feel so honored that even Phil dabbled into Bella's Cafe. That is such an honor.
Well, I'm just jealous that Max gets all the attention.
So cute. And Alyssa, thank you. Thank you so much for bringing that up, because Alyssa, you have no idea how much hope you are giving to members in SBG. So I just want to give a big shout out to Alyssa, because firstly, this is her first live and she's been killing it tonight, just with the answers and the love and the attention. Big round of applause to Alyssa. And this is official. You are invited and expected and required every single week at our live streams.
There will be fines.
Not your boss, Alyssa. It's a volunteer. It's a volunteer army. Don't ever forget about that.
It's a mandatory volunteer army, though. We're a tight ship around here.
Yes.
I mean, it is a gang, though. It's a steak and butter gang, so.
It is. Yeah. What's the what do they call it when you got to be jumped in? We beat people with ribeyes around here.
We're paratroopers with tomahawk steaks.
There we go.
Right. Exactly. Anyways, so good. I love you guys.
I've been waiting for this one.
Oh, okay. Keto Karen, hello. Did y'all hear about the guy with the hand? Yeah, I've seen this everywhere. Okay, with the hand problem because he ate too much cheese and butter. Todd, why don't you start?
Well, what would happen if you ate 9 pounds of molasses or something every day for whatever? Like, what would happen if you ate 9 pounds of anything like that every day? I don't know. I mean, it's stupid. Plus, Vice's giant propaganda piece. So the fact that they found one dude that was doing something crazy that may or I'd like to see it even verified. Yeah. To me, it's just a hit piece because, whatever, if that's real and they showcase that, that's absolutely great. But for them to attack the entire carnivore community over this one crazy thing, it's obviously a giant propaganda hit piece. And so it's why even have what do I say about it? I say Vice is a hack network. That's what I say.
Yeah, I wanted to share a story though. I was working at a free clinic that we had when I was still practicing, and I had a patient that came in who he had not seen a doctor for a couple years, and he came in and had a blood sugar of 720, a cholesterol of 2,000, and a triglycerides of 16,000. And he had the fatty globules on his arms and hands.
Oh.
And I had to put him in the ICU and give him IV insulin to get him out of that. And within 24 hours, all those skin eruptions went away. I mean, they were literally lipid deposits. And when I drew his blood in the ICU, when we put the IV in, drew his blood, and before she could finish the 3 vials of blood, the one vial looked like it was full of whipped cream.
Oh.
There was so much fat in the blood.
Was he on carnivore?
No.
Right.
He had severe insulin resistance. And so it wasn't his diet that caused that. It was it was the insulin resistance that caused it. But we got him out of that very quickly, and the skin lesions went away the next day. I mean, it was incredible because it was a transient thing. But he looked as bad as that guy in the picture
Oh,
on
wow.
that article. But you got to treat the underlying problem, which is the hypertriglyceridemia and the hypercholesterolemia. But that was not a lipid problem; it was an insulin resistant problem. I proved that with IV insulin within, 12 hours. So,
That's awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah,
but
and I was reading something about it that I think they were calling it xanthelasma or something like that.
xanthelasma is what they're called. Yeah.
And it said that about 1% of the population is affected by this. And they were saying about half of the people who have xanthelasma have high cholesterol and the other half doesn't. And so it sounds like it's completely unrelated to diet at all and high cholesterol.
It's actually a lipid metabolism disease. So, some people, the guy I had, it obviously went away when I treated the underlying disease. But I have seen dermatologists have to do surgery to literally take each one of those off
Wow.
for people that have the idiopathic xanthelasmas. But, anyway, that was a hype piece. So
Yeah, definitely.
So
that's a black swan event.
well, nice try, Vice, you fear-mongering hacks.
Yeah, and it's Vice. Come on. It's Vice. Yeah. Okay, I can welcome and thank you. I got good news yesterday. I've been type 2 for 20 years, and the first 3 months of strict carnivore, my HbA1c only went down from 6.8 to 6.6. Now, 6 months later, it's down to 6.1. Awesome. It was great meeting you in Adelaide, Bella. Yay!
That's awesome.
Aw. So glad I met you in Adelaide.
That is so great.
That's amazing. So much
Incredible.
hope. Yeah. Keep going. Keep us posted, please. And congrats.
Go back. There we go.
Okay, Elena, how healing is alternate day fasting? I want to heal my thyroid and high blood pressure and lose 20 pounds as a side note. What do you think, Alyssa? Alternate day fasting.
How healing is alternate? I think it just depends on where you're currently at. Like if you've been eating well up until this point. I know that with Raymond's priming and fasting protocol, he gets you to a point where you're able to do the alternate day fasting. And but if you try to do that and you're not fully nourished, then it could really wreck a lot of your hormones, and you could do things like lose hair and sleep. So
that's
yeah, I
right.
would say get nourished first.
Since Elena's female, definitely be careful with getting to alternate day fasting. Biggest thing you can do is eating enough first. What do you think, Todd?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I think get primed, get fasted, get nourished, get all the noise gone. And then, then alternate day fasting will be sustainable and then it'll be more effective too, because you'll have a higher metabolism. And from what I experienced, for sure.
Love it. Let's do 10 more minutes and wrap up tonight's live stream. Thank you guys so much for hopping on tonight. So much fun, always. Okay, Ale, how do I stop my craving of cheese and cold drinks? What cold drinks? Like soda?
Her first name is Ale.
Ginger. Her parents missed such an opportunity there.
Todd, do you want to chime in?
Yeah, I mean, just eat your way through the cravings and they will go away. That's what I did. It took 5.5 weeks, and soda was my worst, by far my worst addiction. It took 5.5 weeks for that to go away. Anytime I was having a craving, I just ate bacon and eggs until I was stuffed. And 5.5 weeks later, I was free and haven't looked back since. And once you're free from that stuff, even the cheese is really was way easier to get rid of than the soda. So.
Oh yeah. And Lindy, you say that you can't enjoy cheese at all because it's a slippery slope for you.
It is, yeah. I love cheese. If it's in the fridge, it's calling my name, and I can't stop thinking about it until I eat it. So I just can't buy it. Might as well just have a packet of, sugar bickies or something. It's the same thing to me. So I have to stay away from cheese.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Is there
meat? And that gives you that off switch, which is what I lose all the time if I'm under eating. So nourish your body with meat.
Love it.
Wise words for that fellow that was eating 9 pounds of cheese a day. He should have heard you talk about that, not being able to moderate cheese.
I know. Was it really 9 pounds of cheese or 9 pounds of meat and cheese?
Okay. I heard it was 9 pounds of cheese, but I don't know.
Oh my God.
That's a lot of cheese.
It was mostly cheese, and they said he would wash it down with sticks of butter. And we don't really know exactly what he was eating.
How did he poop?
Yeah, I mean, if I eat 9 pounds of cheese, I will not poop for a lunar month.
Well, maybe it canceled out with the sticks of butter.
Maybe, maybe so.
Trying to make it believable here.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, what's my favorite butter? Have I ever tried West Gold? Oh my gosh. Okay, Lindy, you know West Gold, right?
Yes, that's what I use.
I know. Yeah. So West Gold is, I think, the best butter you can get in Australia. And yes, I had the chance to try West Gold. I think it's incredible. You guys are very lucky to have West Gold. And my favorite butter here is Vital Farms. Most states I get Vital Farms easy peasy, but for California, I will always go with Raw Farm raw butter. That is hands down the best butter. Okay. Hi, Amanda. Strict carnivore over 2 years, down 65 pounds first year, nothing since. I raised calories, I cut, I fasted, nothing. Diagnosed with cancer 6 months ago. Ideas. Wow. I mean, that cancer update, I have to wonder, right? Does that have to do something with the stall? Phil, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think with cancer, the first thing you got to do is start consuming videos by Dr. Thomas Seyfried on the use of ketogenic, getting in ketosis. And this is where I would monitor your ketones. And I don't care what kind of cancer you have. The first thing I would do is try to get as ketotic as I can. And his material is really good. You'll find him on interviews with Bella, with Dr. Barry, with Carrie Mann at Homestead How, Dr. Chafee. I mean, you'll find him everywhere. Dr. Thomas, it's spelled Seyfried. So it's like Seyfried, Seyfried.
Fried eggs. Yeah.
Thomas, he's from Boston University. And his stuff is incredible. The interesting thing is he's reproducing research that has been known for 100 years. And the medical community is rediscovering it because of his work. And MD Anderson in Houston has really embraced his work. And obviously Boston University, but not every cancer center has really embraced it. So we're not saying you treat it with diet alone, but we say you treat it alongside the proper diet with a ketotic diet. And the ketones seem to be the trick. It's because cancer cells live on two fuels, glucose and glutamine, which is an amino acid. And so you want to drive your glucose as low as you can. So very zero carb, get yourself very ketotic. So fasting is part of that regimen. But check out Dr. Seyfried's work. I mean, it's really amazing.
Yes, agreed. He's the best on cancer. Hi, Robert. Welcome. Started carnivore 6 months ago and blood pressure was 110/70. Blood pressure is now 150/100. Any ideas? So we see this happen all the time. And you cannot discount that there are so many different factors that affect your blood pressure. Literally just earlier, Dr. Baker was talking about this and how when he sees this among many carnivores, it's not a red flag. He even said, like, even just raising your arm a couple times and then measuring your blood pressure will make it go up. Okay. So don't freak out. Keep us posted and just keep going. Val, what if you don't want to lose any weight but get rid of autoimmune disease / symptoms or to build muscle? Thanks. So what's the question here? So she doesn't want to lose weight, but she does want to get rid of autoimmune? Okay. Alyssa, this is great for you.
Yes. I mean, when I first started, I was trying to heal my autoimmune conditions, and I was terrified because that's all I heard was all these weight loss stories. And but I found Bella, and of course she had her story that, you know, she gained that initial 25 pounds. And then there was Rebecca Heichman, who was severely underweight, and she was able to gain healthy weight. And then I also found Ribeye Rach, who was also very sick and underweight, and she gained weight as well. And now she's out there, you know, climbing mountains and rock climbing and all this stuff and hiking. So,
Yeah.
and yeah, so I was very underweight when I first started, and I was on my deathbed. I was unable to get out of bed except just barely to make it to the bathroom. And I was like that for months, but I've been able to put on healthy weight. I'm finally at a healthy weight, and I am working on putting lupus in remission. I'm doing pretty well. Most days I can function like a normal person. I'm not riding the little electric carts at the grocery store anymore. So yeah, it just make sure you're eating enough, and you're not going to, you know, I think it's a weight optimization diet. You know, if you need to lose weight and you're eating right, you're going to lose the weight. If you need to gain weight and you're eating right, you're going to gain the weight. So no worries there.
You're so good. I'm so happy you're here. We have a question for you, Alyssa. Are you going to the meetup in Austin, March 8th?
I hope to. Yeah, I just need more details on it, but I'm already here. So
Yes. Oh my God.
are you going to be there, Bella?
Is it an HH meetup, Brett? Do we know? Or is it a random meetup? I mean, either way, I would love to be there. I think it is the HH one. I believe they told me about it.
I've just heard it mentioned, but yeah, I'd love to know more details on it.
Yeah. Let's know more details, Brett, if you don't mind sharing in the live chat. Now I do recall Ashley reaching out. Yeah, it is for Healing Humanity. I'll be there. If I don't have any other prior commitments I have to check.
Nice.
Ooh, sounds exciting. Okay. Let's do 2 more and then we'll wrap up. Deborah, please explain priming for newbies. Maybe you missed Coach Raymond's priming definition. It's his protocol after all. Let's see, Todd, why don't you do a little condensed version?
Yeah, I mean, basically priming is a protocol that Raymond came up with for SBG, and the purpose is to make sure you're not under eating to nourish the body so that you can heal and open up your appetite so that your metabolism will heal, and you'll heal up, and then you'll get to notice, through that program, you notice a lot of things that you may have missed. You may not be familiar with, like I wasn't, like leptin sensitivity, like what it's like to do a nourish fast instead of having, actually, the biggest thing I found was what it's like to have a functioning metabolism, to have a high functioning metabolism. I never felt that in my whole life. So there's so many beautiful things that come out of it about, hearing signaling from your body for what true hunger is, what true nourishment is, what a nourish fast is like, what a healthy metabolism feels like. But it sounds silly because we should just be able to eat, but we've been practicing so much disordered eating through calorie restriction, through all the problems we've been going on and signaling problems, that you actually kind of have to hit the basics again and build a foundation to build up from again to heal all that. And it really does work. Yeah.
I love it. And it's almost like retraining your appetite and your hunger as if you were a baby. And so you get the reset that you need to go back to just following your body's cues. It's so beautiful. And I think the best thing about it is you do have this wonderful team, basically everyone here, and a lot more amazing voices as well. Just hold your hand through the entire process. Coach Raymond himself, who created this whole thing, he's always in those classes weekly, troubleshooting, answering questions, helping all the members out. it's just a beautiful, active community, really. And you get the support you need. So feel free to join us if you want more on priming specifically. I would highly recommend that you join the community for that and not do it in the dark. It just doesn't work as well. There's the link,
100%.
guys. Yes.
And this is a perfect question to end it on. I love this question.
Oh, perfect. Hi, Cisse. Welcome back. Hello, fellow carnivores. I was wondering how carnivore started to be talked about and practiced. Does it have a chance to be mainstream? This is a very wonderful question. Like, it's so full of hope when I read it. How was it started, guys? Do we know?
Who's that guy that everybody, obviously, yeah, I think so. Before Sean Baker, even.
Yeah, I think it's the Bear Owsley. He was like one of the first. And I would say Charles Washington. He started the whole zero carb movement, zero carb community. And honestly, zero carb is a bit confusing because people are like zero carb, but carnivore still has carbs. Zero carb is really just only animal foods. Although they were pretty strict back then where they wouldn't allow too much dairy. They didn't even allow salt, But it started with the zero carb tribe and then it slowly blossomed into carnivore. We would agree that that was Sean Baker's doing, right?
He named it the Carnivore Diet. So
exactly. He went on Joe Rogan. He honestly was the reason it blew up, in my opinion. Is he went on Joe Rogan and talked about it, did tons of really life-changing podcast episodes, which changed my life because the first podcast episode that I heard was Kelly Hogan on Sean Baker's podcast. So I'm very grateful for both of them. And then Todd, does it have a chance to be mainstream?
Yeah, especially what they say in the next 30 years, men won't be able to father children at their rate of decline of testosterone or something. I've seen that like 3 different times now, and I don't know if that's 100% accurate or not, but I know a lot of men that have low testosterone and hormone issues that are healing up on carnivore. So, I mean, I think we just got to wait them out. If nothing else, we're gonna breed out everybody else because we're gonna be the only ones kicking out kids still here pretty soon.
Yeah.
So I mean, if nothing else, but yeah, I think you can't put a lid on.
No, you cannot.
The real magic pill, which is really the answer to all the metabolic disease that's happening right now. I mean, as you see, everybody that does this gets really fired up about it because it really works. And they go, man, if I said it before, if somebody would have given me a pill that did all this, I would be on every billboard from here to Timbuktu touting this as the greatest Ozempic / pills, carnivore, whatever stupid thing. But because it's meat, they say it doesn't work. But, it's absolutely the best medicine I've ever seen in my life, and it works so quickly. Yeah, we absolutely are gonna take it over, I think.
I think so too. And if you want legitimate data, go to Google Trends, and put in the keyword carnivore diet in Google Trends, and filter it in the last 1 year, and then compare it with the same exact 1 year filter with vegan diet. That will tell you everything. Vegan, carnivore. Okay. That's the truth right there. And so if there's a diet that actually works, that's actually healing people, you can try to shut it down. It will never be shut down because it works. That's what matters.
100%. Yeah. And they can't put the genie back in the bottle. Can't unring that bell. It's too late. Yeah.
Awesome. What a great live. With my 28-year-old energy, I could go for another 3 hours, but let's call it a night.
He's going to take it easy on everybody else that's really old.
Yeah. My 40-year-old energy isn't handling this very well. It's past my bedtime.
Firstly, can you believe that wait, you're already 40, Alyssa?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, I'm 40.
Oh my God, you look like you're 28.
Thank you.
Gosh, that is awesome. And then Todd looks like he's 25.
I look out here. I'll fix that in a hurry. There we go. Now I look like I'm 60.
Oh my God, now you look like you're 10.
And I just look old.
Not at all, Phil. You are full of charisma and energy. It's incredible. I love you guys. This was great.
Awesome.
Okay. Any final thoughts, Todd, to announce?
Well, let's see. We should probably put Hack Your Health out there.
Yeah, let me drop that. Thank you.
Dr. Phil is going to be putting on an awesome panel for us, right, Dr. Phil?
The
You want to
best.
talk about that a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah, well, the topic is how to survive as a carnivore in a non-carnivore world. But
Yay.
maybe by the time we get to November, we'll live in a carnivore world. So we may be outdated.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
We're gonna make America healthy again with carnivore.
I'll tell
We
you
all
what,
deserve to be healthy. Yes.
if they go after sugar like they're going after red dye number 3 and seed oils right now, we stand a pretty good chance.
Let's see. Very hopeful times.
Yeah, when the government can, after 30 years of knowing something was bad for you, finally ban it.
Right.
That's and they said we're losing our glaciers because of global warming, but our glaciers are our government.
That's 100%.
So things move at glacial speed. So we're very fortunate to have a new administration who's got a fire under their hind end to get things done. So it's going to be incredible next 4 years. And when Healing Humanity comes out, that's going to be great.
Oh, yes.
We have to really get out and, whether it's in the theaters or on Netflix, we all have to get out and really support it, buy copies of it, give it to our friends, do everything we can to get it out there, because it's all going to be about views. And we're going to have a tremendous opportunity whenever that comes out in the next 12 months.
Oh, thank you, Frank. That's so nice. He says, thanks for your efforts. You're changing lives. So are all of you guys, by the way. Last thing I'm going to stress, and then we'll say goodnight and see you guys next week, is you guys make the biggest difference, believe it or not. Not us on the screen doing these live streams. This whole movement is fueled by the community. I cannot stress that enough. If it was not comprised of tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of carnivores by now, this movement would not be as powerful and pushing forward so quick. So your voices matter so much. Go to all the live streams. Heck, start your YouTube channels already. Come on, start those YouTube channels, post your stories, film those videos. You have no idea how many people it's going to reach. If you need my help, reach out. I'm actually, Todd, did you know I'm doing a YouTube coaching in SBG only though?
I did. I'm signed up. I'm in.
Oh, great.
I want
Okay.
I want to know what I'm doing wrong.
You already know. You just need to do it.
I do. I have to fix it. But
Oh
I mean, that should be encouraging though. I put this face in the algorithm and it didn't break. So anybody can do it. So we're good to go.
That's facts though. Awesome. Awesome. Love you guys so much. And we'll see you next week. Brett, come in SBG. You'll get it. Please
For
come.
sure.
Love you guys. See
Yeah.
you next week.
See you all.